Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to tackle one of those tricky little areas of English, asking for, giving, and denying permission. Let's jump right in.
Okay, let's kick things off with a little puzzle. Just read this sentence to yourself. Now, it probably sounds fine, right? But trust me, there's a classic mistake hiding in there. By the time we're done here, you'll spot it in a second and know exactly what's wrong with it. All right, first up, let's talk about asking for permission right now, in the present. Think of it like this. You wouldn't use a sledgehammer to crack a nut, right? It's all about choosing the right tool for the job, or in this case, the right level of politeness.
So I want you to imagine a scale of politeness. All the way on the casual end, you've got can. This is your go-to, your everyday word for friends and family. A step up from that is could, which is just a little bit more polite. Then we get to may, which is definitely more formal. Think talking to your boss. And way at the top, the most formal and indirect is might. You're probably not going to use this one very often.
So let's see how this actually works. Can I use your pen? That's perfect for a coworker or a friend. Could I ask you a personal question? See how that just softens it a bit? It's a little less direct. And then, may I, or even might I make a suggestion? Well, that's what you pull out in a really formal meeting to show a lot of respect. It's all about reading the room.
Okay, so someone's just asked you for permission. Fantastic. But how you give them that green light, how you say yes is just as important. And honestly, there's a huge trap here that a lot of people fall into. Now pay close attention here because this is where things get interesting. It's totally fine to ask with the polite word could, but you can never give permission with it. Same thing for might. Saying yes you could or yes you might just sounds, well, wrong. It's a really common mistake.
So here it is, the big rule. When you're the one saying yes, you stick with can or may. That's it. It doesn't matter if they asked with could or may or can. Your answer, the permission itself, is always given with can or may. Simple as that.
All right, so let's zoom out a little. We've talked about asking your friend for a pen, but what about the bigger rules? You know, the official stuff. Laws, signs, the rules of the world around us. Just imagine you're walking through a park and you see this sign. Pretty clear, right? Now, if you wanted to explain this rule to someone, there are two equally perfect ways to say it. You could say you can't feed the animals, or you could say you aren't allowed to feed the animals. When we're talking about official rules and laws like this, these two phrases mean exactly the same thing. They are totally interchangeable.
And, of course, this isn't just for negative rules. It works for things you are allowed to do, too. Saying you can get married or you are allowed to get married are both perfect ways to explain the law. It's a really consistent, useful rule to know.
All right, take a deep breath. We have now reached what I like to call the final boss of permission, talking about it in the past. This is the one that trips up everybody, even advanced speakers. But don't worry, we're going to make it super clear.
First, we have to understand two different ideas. The first is general permission. This is for a rule that existed over a long period of time in the past. It's like having a library card that let you check out a book anytime you wanted. It was a standing permission.
And the second idea is the complete opposite, a specific occasion. This isn't about a standing rule. This is about getting permission for one single event. It happened once, and it's over. It's not the library card. It's the receipt for the one book you checked out last Tuesday.
Okay, this is where it all comes together. Look closely. For the general permission, the library card, borrowing the car whenever I wanted, we can use could. It works perfectly. But for the specific occasion, the single receipt, borrowing it just last night, we absolutely cannot use could.
And this, right here, is the golden rule. Let this one sink in. If you're talking about a single time someone got permission in the past, could is wrong. You have to use was allowed to or were allowed to. This is the master key that solves the entire puzzle.
You made it. You've officially survived the hardest part. So let's just do a quick final check with a couple of common mistakes to make sure you've really got this down.
All right, have a look at this one. It's talking about a law, a general rule that's always true. Based on what we just covered, what's the mistake here?
Exactly. For stating rules, we never use might not. We use can't or aren't allowed to. Perfect.
And now let's go all the way back to the very beginning. You see that little phrase, last night? That's our clue. It tells us this is a specific past event. So, what's the right way to say this?
And there it is. Because last night was a specific, one-time thing we have to use was allowed to. Using could is that classic mistake we talked about. You've officially solved the puzzle.
So, look, if you take only one thing away from this explainer about past permission, let it be this. This simple formula right here. It's your secret weapon. It will get you the right answer every single time.
And that's really all there is to it. Once you start to see these underlying patterns, the so-called rules of English get a whole lot simpler. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you want us to break down next.